Imagine waking up tomorrow and being told that your language is now illegal. Not your religion, not your politics, your language. The words your mother used to sing you to sleep. The phrases your grandmother whispered when she was afraid. The sounds that connected you to thousands of years of history. Now imagine that the punishment for speaking even a single word of it is having your tongue cut out, on the spot, in the street, in front of your children. This is not a dystopian story. This actually happened. And what followed was one of the most remarkable acts of cultural survival in all of human history. Our story begins in the year 996 AD, in the golden city of Cairo. A new ruler had just taken the throne of Egypt. His name was Al-Hakim Bioma Allah. He was 16 years old, extraordinarily intelligent, and by most accounts, completely and utterly terrifying. His own advisors were afraid to speak in his presence. His court officials disappeared without explanation. He would wander the streets of Cairo alone at night, dressed in simple clothing, watching his own people like a ghost. History would eventually give him a nickname that said everything: the Mad Caliph. But nothing was more calculated or more devastating than his war against the Coptic language. At the time, millions of Egyptians still spoke Coptic. It was an ancient tongue with roots back to the pharaohs. It was the language of merchants in the markets, of families gathered around fires, of priests chanting in churches. It was, in every sense, the living heartbeat of Egyptian civilization. Al-Hakim wanted it silenced forever. He issued a decree. Coptic was forbidden. Anyone heard speaking, it would be reported immediately. And to enforce this, he built a vast network of informants and spies. They stood on street corners. They sat in market stalls. They waited outside church doors. They lingered near homes in the early morning. If you were caught, even whispering, soldiers would arrive within minutes. There was no trial. There was no appeal. There was only one punishment. Your tongue would be removed, publicly, so that every neighbor and child would understand the cost. The effect was catastrophic. Mothers across Egypt made the most heartbreaking decision a parent can make. They stopped teaching their children the language of their ancestors out of pure terror. One by one, the voices disappeared. The markets fell quiet. The stories stopped being told. To any outside observer, it looked like Al-Hakim had won. But something extraordinary was happening in the shadows. Deep inside the walls of ancient monasteries, Coptic priests were writing. Every night, by the light of oil lamps, they copied manuscripts. They transcribed everything and hid them inside walls, beneath floors, inside sealed clay jars. They were building a vault, not of gold or jewels, but of words. For generations, those hidden manuscripts sat in darkness, waiting, and then the persecution ended. When scholars uncovered those walls centuries later, they found something impossible: a complete language, perfectly preserved, every word, every sound, every prayer. Al-Hakim had commanded an entire civilization to forget its own voice. And he had failed. Today, Coptic is still spoken in Egyptian Christian churches across the world. The same words that mothers once refused to teach their children out of pure terror. A mad ruler tried to murder a language. The language refused to die. You cannot kill a story that people are willing to die to preserve. This has been The Curious Past. See you in the next mystery.